we can talk to uh, the NCAT services management, Raju. He can share
Mhm.
you the recording, not a problem.
Sure, sure. I'll ask him. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
we'll try to work it out. We'll talk offline. We'll try to work it out your timings so that you can join the classes regularly.
Sure, sure. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Okay. Now, guys. So at this stage, okay, at this stage, you're please understand we are traveling together in this course and try to understand what we are doing right now. At this stage, we are at stage three, right? Which is what is the stage three, guys? What is stage three? It is a
Design phase.
design
Designing
phase,
phase,
correct?
Vinod.
The stage three,
Design
design
phase.
phase. Very good. Excellent. Very good. Now,
Designing phase.
right. As a tester, you're not supposed to do anything in the phase two and in the phase three. Again, very, very important. As a tester, your role is not involved in phase two or phase three. Correct? You might be asking a question, sir, how about phase one? Yes. Whenever any new project is starting, whenever any SDLC process is kick-started, it is always good to have, along with the BA, testing team is also involved in collecting the requirements. Generally, company does this if the development team and the testing team is hired just before the project is started, then they'll make a BA as well as the testing team together to discuss with the customer about the requirements. This will be a very, very important interview question, right? People will ask if you are projecting yourself 3+ years experience. Interviewer will ask why it is important as a tester. You should be in the beginning of the project. Do you think a tester is important whenever the project is started? You should say yes. As a tester, your presence is at most important when the project is begun, as whenever the requirements are discussed as a tester, you should be present in that meetings, in that calls, so that while testing an application, right, it will help you to test that application effectively if you understand the requirements thoroughly, right? So that's here you need to understand it is the art of understanding. When I say art of understanding, means see, a BA will understand the requirements in a BA's perspective. Developer will understand the requirements in developer's perspective. Tester will understand the requirements in a different angle. And a PM will understand the requirements in a different angle. Everyone has a different role in the project. Architect will understand the requirements in a different angle. So for us, the scope of this training, the scope of your manual testing or automation, as a tester, how much deep you should understand the requirements is our job to understand. Correct? Now, as a tester, the requirements you should understand the same way the customer is expecting, right? Whatever is there in the customer's mind, the tester should have the same understanding, same feeling, same confidence, same knowledge about the requirements. We don't care how developers understanding it. We don't care architects understanding it. We don't care how PM is understanding. As a tester, your knowledge of the requirements is at most important. BA and the testing team should always be on the same page on the requirements. Developer only understand the requirements, right? Oh, yes, we got the requirements. I should develop a web page. That's it. My job is done. Developer is that kind of a person. Architect is My job is to make sure the complete end-to-end, the flow of the data, end-to-end, the source and targets of the system, the end-to-end entire architecture, the architect will design. Then his job is done. PM, he makes sure that the project is delivered on time. But as a tester, your role is very, very, very important. You are the person, you are the gatekeeper for the project to go online. If you say yes, then only the application will go into production. If you say no, it is no. That's it. So please be mindful when I keep saying this again. As a tester, you should have a good listening skills. Always listen, always focus. Now, when we enter into the third one, which is an and designing phase, correct? So at this stage, we have completed two phases successfully and we have certain outputs. The third one is designing phase. Now, so what happens in designing phase, right? So the name itself says designing is something, it is a basic understanding. Some design is happening, correct? So some designing happening. And this designing phase is very, very important for any project to kickstart, right? When I say kickstart, we already knew the project is started, but still it is in a documentation wise. It only there in the requirement stage. It is in the form of words, English. Okay, login page. A customer wants this is an e-commerce platform. Example: customer wants this product to be listed. Customer wants one payment gateway system where customers can check out, and the customer wants some kind of a partnership login XYZ. So everything is written in English. Everything is there in the FRS document. Functional requirement specification. Okay. Now, now how that the words which is in English is converted into a next stage, which is basically called as a designing phase. Now, what happens in designing phase? Though you are not bothered, right? So you are not bothered because your role is not there here, right? But you should understand what is happening as a software development life cycle, what happens, and how the project is traveling on a different stages. Correct? Now, importantly, what happens here? What work is happening here? Now, in the say stage two, what was happened here? This way the things happen, correct? Stage two, this way the things happen. Right? What happens in the stage three, designing phase? Very, very important for the developer's perspective, not as a tester. So you keep listening these words again and again in the meetings. No one will ask you about what is high-level designing because you are a tester. But as a tester, you should understand there is a design phase. In the designing phase, what happens? The whole project is broken down into a technical understanding language in a kind of a process flow, in a kind of a different sources, different the target systems are identified. Then when the target system, source systems, the architecture, system requirements are identified, then how the communication should happen. Example, if we are designing an e-commerce application, right? Customer wants to log into the application. The customer will enter username and password. The moment he'll hit the enter button, it should go and check the database whether this user is existing or not. Correct? Now, which database it should hit? What is the process? Which application will take the username and password and travel to the database? How the flow will go on? And how should be the response coming back? What kind of format, whether it is a JSON format, whether it is a textual format, whether it is a kind of a SOAP envelope or a kind of a RESTful, what kind of flow, what how the data is moving from one location to another location. Like those all flows at a high level will be documented in the high level design document. In the shortcut, we call that as a HLD. And please be mindful as a tester, you're not going to prepare this document. Who prepare this? Basically architects or senior architects, right? Or in different companies will have a different naming convention, chief architects, lead and etc. Right? So now what happens in design phase? In the design phase, the whole project is divided into a high level bits and pieces, right? They use nowadays, no, they use different process flows. Example now, let me show you this one. Now, what I'm using here, it is like this. Project is started, and there is a the flow which is coming here. Right? My mouse is not moving properly. Okay. Now, if to be more specific, if the customer username and password is correctly given, it will enter into the application. Correct. Something like this. I'm just using randomly. Okay. If customer information is incorrect, then there is a display of information on the user front. So like this, a different and high level flow where the data is moving. If I like, yeah, I have showcased one kind of operation. Yeah, yeah, you can see this here. So this is the sample which I've taken from the internet, which is a high level design of some project, some application, right? This is how it is prepared. Now at this stage, it talks about what are the different systems it is going to connect. Correct. Now it is see here Kafka REST API, HTTP REST API. It is a backup data center. These are the different centers it is going to connect. Right. So this is please do not panic about what is this diagram, why I'm not understanding this. So do not worry about it at this stage. Generally, you'll be confused, and you're not the one to prepare this. You're not the one to uh, follow this thoroughly. But at certain stage, if you want to clarify certain areas, you will be looking at this diagram to understand how the data is flowing. But to an extent, initially, will not be required any of these documents. But try to understand. A high-level document is prepared as a part of software development life cycle, where where right. So generally, they use UML diagrams, right? So it's a unified modeling language. Generally, they use. So you can see here, these are the different boxes, correct? Different sizes, different structures. They have used it to prepare these HLD diagrams, right? So generally, we use developers leads or architects use those EML diagrams and a lot of other diagrams as well. New technologies came into picture. People use it to prepare the high level documents. Now we understand who plays an important role here in designing phase is an architect. What he does is high level documents and depends on the project to project. People will prepare LLD. People may not prepare LLD. That's not mandatory to have LLDs unless and until project demands, unless and until customer demands that he wants LLDs as well. See, now what is HLD? You know, at high level. But what is LLD? Now, example here, you see, mouse pointer. Taking this, this issue was. Okay, now see here this arrow marks, right? The Kafka REST API is again, is connecting with Kafka. And internally, the Kafka is connecting to multiple, right, for the batch processing, streaming processing, right? So now you see this flow. Now, how this data is moving from one point to another point, right? It is only showing that yes, at high level, you are moving from a Kafka REST API from LB from here to here, Kafka to this multiple Spark and other areas, correct? Now, how this is happening? What kind of data Kafka will be accepting? The data should be of what size, what format, whether it should be a CSV format, whether it should be a text format, whether it should be a comma delimiter, right? Or whether it should be a form of JSON. So those low level points, right? Now this high level document is broken down into a low level, right, document, which is LLD, which talks about the detailed level, how the data should be processed, what should be the different kinds of systems, what is their capacities, what is their logging in mechanism, right? How many users can log in, whether it is an admin. So not many detailed level is described in the low level design. Again, both documents are prepared by the architects or senior architects. As a tester, you should not bother about this. Okay, and you should understand the output of designing phase is something which is a HLD, correct? HLD and LLD. Okay, so together in a high level, we call that as a TTT. It is not Tirupati Tirumala Devasthanam. Okay, TTT. What generally we see on our daily life, it is a technical, right? Sorry, it is a technical design document. What is the output of this phase 3? It is a technical design document. And the role is what? Role is a architect or a chief architect plays an important role in this phase. To, to identify whether you are a fake or a genuine experienced person, the interviewer will trick in many ways. He'll say, did you ever prepare high level documents? Just to see you are fake or a genuine, right? So in a panic situation, people with the lack of preparation, they say, yes, I prepared XLE documents. And that's where the interviewer will identify that you do not have a proper experience or you are a fake candidate. You should say, yes, as a tester, I'm aware of HLD document, which is output of a design phase, which is prepared by a chief architect. And as a tester, I do not have any such role, or I, as a tester, I do not contribute for any HLD document preparation. But yes, I do understand that there is a document called as HLE document, which is prepared a part of designing phase, right? Then HLD and LLD together is available inside a document called as technical design document. That's very, very important. All these documents will be given to the customer as a part of delivery and the maintenance. At the time of a delivery, we'll provide all this documentation to the customer. Hey, customer, so this is what we have done in the phase 1. We got this FRS documents while we were discussing with you. These are the requirements we have captured, and this is the functional requirement specification documents. And based on these requirements, we identified the system requirements, and we have noted in a separate document called as service. Once this is done, as a phase three, in the designing phase, our architects have designed this technical design document, which has all the HLDs and LLDs inside it. Correct? So far, any confusion, guys? I want everyone answering this question. Any confusion so far?
No, Vinod, clear.
No, Vinod, still no.
Diagram diagram ಅಲ್ಲ.
No, Vinod.
No.
Sorry. Someone said no. It means not understanding anything.
Yes, I
It's clear.
understand. It's clear.
Yeah.
Clear.
Okay. Okay.
Clear Vinod.
See, don't feel anything like if I ask anything in front of everyone, people will think bad. Okay. If you don't ask now, you will never ask anything. You'll keep on moving to different topics. You will be behind understanding. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next page. Okay, someone is doing some work. I hear some sound. Nice, they are cooking or doing some work and listening to the class. No, right? Please be mindful. Understand what we are discussing. I might ask questions to anyone. Please be connected. Okay. So what is the next phase, guys? What is the next phase?
Coding or
What
programming?
is the
Coding
next
phase.
phase? Coding
Programming
phase. What is the next phase?
Programming phase. Coding or
Programming
programming.
phase, right? Or programming phase. As the name suggests, right? This is very, very important stage. Now, now, now we're at the stage four. Now we understand that, right from the requirements, they're very raw. The raw is something like, it is a raw material. We got it from the customer, and slowly it is forming a shape. Requirements are discussed. Now the technical design document is ready. Now we know what need to do. Correct. Now, very, very important for a developer, right? For a developer, if he wants to start the development, he'll not bother of. Yeah. Kavita, can you please go on mute, please? Kavita, Rajalakshmi. Right. Okay. Remember, for a developer to start his work, he's not bothered of functional requirement document. He's just bothered of the technical design document given by the architect. To get more knowledge, what are the requirements? The developer always can refer FRS document. Who is the author of the FRS documents, guys? Ramadevi? Who is the author of FRS document?
No, Vinod, I'm not sure.
Okay. Others? Who is the
The
author of
Business
FRS
analyst.
document?
Business
Business
analyst.
analyst.
business
analyst.
Absolutely. Excellent. Excellent. So the author of the FRS document is the BA, right? Who is the author of the technical design document, guys?
architect.
Architect.
Absolutely.
Architect.
Very, very good. Very good.
Architect.
Very good. Okay. So this is how you have to understand what the process. Then only you will align yourself into the project. Okay. So right now we are at the stage at the coding phase. Here also, as we discussed, testers has no job to do, just like the designing phase. Designing phase also tester will not do anything. The same thing, the coding phase or the development phase, the testers there is no job at all, but we should understand what is going on in each phase. Now at the coding phase, developers will come into picture. Now the developers have to start the work they need the output of the previous phase, which is called the technical design document. And with the help of a FRS document, developer will start working on developing the code with the help of the developer lead, right? The developer lead or a technical lead will conduct n number of sessions to give them the heads up. How should they start the development? What kind of branching mechanism they should use? How should they commit the code on daily basis?
I can't
Where should
visible any screen. You are sharing any
sorry, what?
screen is sharing or not?
What is here on the screen now?
No.
It is team shared. Teams.
So I'm not sharing anything. That's why you don't say
Okay.
anything.
Okay.
What you see now, Raja Lakshmi, on the screen? What do you see now?
This is a contest screen.
Correct. So
Okay.
now everybody can see only this one. Do not
Okay.
worry anything,
Okay.
right? Nothing is been shared. So I've not started anything to share. Okay. Okay. All right. So where we were for the coding phase, right? Yeah. Now the developers needs how to speak start the work. Now the developer lead will guide them how to develop the application. Now, very important. Who plays an important role in coding phase, guys?
Team
Developer.
developers.
Developers.
Software developers.
Excellent. Excellent. Software developers. Correct. Or can I call them as the programmers? Correct. Can I call them as the programmers? Right.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, we know.
Absolutely. Great. Thanks for responding. Now you'll be listening a new term here. Okay. Now you know design phase output is technical design document. First phase it is FRS document. Second phase it is SRS. Third it is TDD. So blah blah blah. Now you know. Now the fourth one, in the coding phase, what is the output? Correct. So here you will not find any documents. Correct. Because developer is actually developing the code. Right. Now we call in the technical language, we call that as a source code. Call that as a ASC, actual source code. Right. Now what is the source code? It contains, sometimes we call it is as a build. Very important term, guys. You keep hearing this many times in the throughout your life in testing or a developer anywhere in IT. You listen this word called as a build. Okay, build is something which is a code which is developed by a developer, right? Few lines of code to multiple lines of code, right? You understand the whole project will not develop in a one go. The whole project is divided into different requirements, right? So all requirements are joined together and given to the customer. So individually, let's say there are 5 developers working in the project. 5 developers will develop 5 different codes. Then later on, those all codes will be integrated, right? So that each code they develop, we call that as a build. Okay, you listen the word correctly, right? Build, BUILD. Okay. Now what is the proof, right? What is the proof that the code is developed? What they do, developers will develop a kind of, though in a real time it is not followed, but it's actually the documentation wise, there should be some source code document which talks about what has been developed, what kind of standards they followed, what kind of indentation, what kind of commenting technology, what kind of logging mechanism, what kind of error mechanism, right? What kind of retry mechanism, what kind of mechanism they have used to develop that particular application will be listed in the source code document. But ultimately, the output of this coding phase is the source code, which is your working application. Okay, this is your working application. Now, by closing this, now we understand that now at this stage, guys, so very, very important here is understand.
Testing phase.
Testing, sir.
Correct.
Testing
Now,
phase.
this is where you come into picture.
Yes.
This is where tester come into picture. Correct.
Yes. Correct.
This is where testers come into picture. Now you should understand an application and a source code or a working application is coming to you. A source code or a working coming to you for a testing. It means it has crossed the stages from the requirement collection, right? The FRS document is prepared, prototype model is completed, customer agreed with the prototype model, then it went to an analysis phase, the detailed analysis has been completed, then it went through a coding phase, developers quickly jumped onto the requirements, technical design document, they started development. Once the development is complete, then they will give that code. See, as a tester, right? If they give you a code, what will you do? You will not test the code, correct? As a tester, you will not test the code. As a developer, you will only test the application, right? Now, how it is? Just me at the screen. Okay. Yeah. And so what they do is ideally, so they'll send out an email from the development team or a developer lead or a technical lead. They send out an email to testing team saying that, hey, team, so we have completed the development of XYZ application. Here is the build URL, which is it's like this 172.3.4.5, correct? It will be in the form of hyperlink, correct? For your reference. Please perform testing on the build and let us know the status. Something like this. They will write an email to testing team providing the URL here. The moment you click on the URL, irrespective of any coding language used by the developer, the application will open, right? If it is an e-commerce application, then the application will open. So whatever pages they have developed, so they'll mention here in the release notes, very important terminology, release notes. We'll talk about this in future. But for now, what is the release notes here? What this URL contains. Like example, if there are 10 requirements in total, right? They might have only developed four requirements example. What it four requirements? It might be a login page. Okay. It might be once the inbox page example. There is a compose page, right? And attachment. So they mentioned in the release note Then he mentioned in his notes, these requirements are developed, and when you click this, you find only these pages working. So he's not talking about the 10 requirements. So why is he so specific about this one? Right? Example, as a tester, you went and tested uh, what is that called? Uh, the spam pages. Okay, example. There is a spam, right? Spam folder or spam where all your emails will go and sit there. Still, the developers are not yet developed this spam pages, but you went ahead and tested this spam page and said that, hey, developer lead, you said that the URL is available. I have tested this spam page and it is showing error pages. Kindly check. Now he'll respond back stating that we have clearly mentioned in the release notes that we have only worked on these 4 pages and we have to test only these 4 pages. Why did you test spam page, which is not yet developed? So as a tester, your listening skills, your reading skills should be very much important. You have to understand what is written in the email. It is written in the release notes that only these 4 pages are ready. Correct? Now, having said that, this is the testing phase, correct? Testing phase. And who plays an important role here, guys? I want everyone answer. Who plays an important role here?
Business analyst.
Thinking. Tester.
Tester.
Testers.
Tester.
Software test.
Test lead.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Software testers.
Software testers, QA
QA
engineers,
engineers.
or a test lead,
Test
blah,
lead.
blah, blah. Okay. So, but how? But what happens here? This is very important, guys. I want you to be very much attentive here. People from a different background. So you should understand what happens exactly here. Okay. Now, as a tester, right? As a tester, right? So you should be very much worried about this phase. You should know what happens in this phase. What happens as a tester? What is your role in this? Correct. Now, the role we know. What is the task that happens here? Well, what happens is testing. What is the task which happens? Testing. Who does the testing? Testers. You are the people who are going to do the testing. Okay? You are the one who is going to do the testing. The naming convention will be different. Okay? But your role is crucial in this testing. But how it happens? Okay, how it happens? It is very, very important, guys. You have to understand. Right? First thing, what you need to do as a tester, you will be receiving the FRS documents. Okay, as a tester, what the first document you will be receiving? You will be receiving the FRS document. Guys, what is the FRS documents? What it contains? Source code, system requirements, or the requirements of the customer. What it contains?
Requirements of the customer.
Customer.
Absolutely. Excellent. Excellent. FRS contains
Requirements of the customer.
requirements of the customer. Very,
Requirement.
very good. Right? So someone tell me why you need FRS document. Right or wrong? Say the answer.
Right.
No, to know
Why
what
you
is the
need
requirement, to know what is the requirements and what is the positive and negative.
Naveen, I don't want you to answer
For
this question.
testing,
You already
for
knew this.
testing, for testing purpose, we need requirement.
Absolutely. Naveen, see, I don't mind you saying this answer because you already knew this. So thank you for it. Others, yeah, thanks. Someone just said we need FRS document to test. Okay. Is it right or wrong? Others,
Right.
please.
Yes, sir.
Right or wrong? See, I want everyone to answer. I'll be watching who is not answering. And if I find someone is not responding to my questions, that's not good part. Okay. Please answer, right or wrong. What is
Right.
why FRS document is required for a tester?
Even SRS
Yes.
is fine, right? Only FRS is required. System.
See,
Hello.
what is SRS document?
System requirement.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
As a tester, right? You should be more bothered of the
Yeah,
FRS documents because
tester
those are
should
the functional
understand
requirements.
customer requirements correctly, right? That's why FR is required for a tester.
Yeah. So first thing is to understand. Example, as a tester, you should not be bothering what kind of environment customer is requiring because that's the infrastructure team will take care of it. You're not going to test the infra, right? You're not going to test that infra related items. You, as a tester, you'll be testing only the functional requirement, how the application is working. Now, there are two things you need to understand. One is functional, other one is non-functional. We'll discuss this both when we enter into different types of testings. But as a tester, the important document for you is the FRS document. This is an interview question, guys. Very, very important. The different companies will have different naming convention. FRS and SRS combined, they'll have in one document. That's fine. As a
Yes.
tester, you should understand what is the functional requirements of the application. What is the behavior of the application? What is its functions? What is it is developed for? Right? If it is e-commerce, what is the nature of the e-commerce? It should display the products. That is a function. It should display the quantity available. Is the function. It should display the different models, different sizes, different locations, delivery timeline. That is a function. It should process the payments. That is a function. It should display once the payment is successful. It should generate an order ID. That's the function. Once the order ID is displayed, they should send an email to the customer. That's the function. Correct? So those functional requirements are specifically listed in the forest document. As a tester, whenever you join in any organization, any company, whether it's a fake or a genuine, whatever, if you join in any company, you should first ask what? Can you please share me the functional requirement document or whatever name the company is following? You should first take that document and try to understand what is the actual requirement of the customer. Correct? Now, whenever once you receive this document, whenever you have any doubts in the functional requirement document, the different company will follow different name process flow. They'll say that you have to approach the BA who is author of the requirement document and get clarify all your doubts in the FRS. You should follow that. If they follow any kind of a template, they say that whenever you have any doubts in the FRS document, you list out all the doubts in one place. You send the document to the BA, then he will respond back. Based on the company flow, you have to prepare list of your doubts. Okay, list of your doubts. If you don't have, then fine. The second one would be listing out your doubts based on the company process, right? Now, please understand, team work in a different geographical locations. Your BA sits in Switzerland, you are in Hyderabad, or you are in Hyderabad, your BA sits in India, or you're all working in the same desk, sitting in the same area, in the same place. That might be the option. Depends on the process. You need to approach, you need to write an email asking the doubts. Once the doubts are clarified, correct? Once the doubts are clarified, and if you do not have anything, right, your immediate job is to write the test cases. Now, what is this test cases? How it is written? We'll talk about in a upcoming session. Now, test case is something, right, which is created on two things. One, based on the requirement. Two, from your mindset. It is your idea of a tester. Based on the requirement, you have to write the test cases, test the application. Example, if it is a username and password login page, as a tester, you have to write different scenarios. What if I enter username correctly, password correctly? What is the output of an application? As a tester, you might think in all a positive and different negative way. What if I enter both username and password incorrect? And how should your application should respond? What if I enter username incorrect, password correct? So these are the different ideas which should come to your mind based on the requirement in the functional requirement document. Now, at this stage, we will understand that yes, we have written the test cases and we are ready. Imagine you have written 10 TC. Understand? I'm writing a soft shortcut, which is called as the TC, which is a test cases. Now, quick question. I want everyone to answer. I'll see who will promptly answer it. Who will promptly answer it? Okay, I'm going to ask one simple question, very basic. Okay, now as a tester, on which document base you write the test cases?
FRS document.
Once again, the
Function.
Okay, I'll repeat the question. As a tester, right, on which document you will be dependent to write the test cases?
FRS.
FRS.
FRS. FRS.
Excellent. FRS. Okay.
SRS
So as a tester, yeah,
system requirements also need.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. See, you have to consider all aspects,
Yes.
FRS and SRS. See,
SRS.
SRS,
Yes.
again, SRS, let's say customer wants to use only, use both Windows and Mac as an environments, right? As a tester, the company will not allow you due to some restrictions, due to some budget. They'll not give you, other than Windows machine to test. Your scope has come down, correct? So ideally, we'll focus more on the functional than a non-functional way, unless and until it is required in the project. So we'll focus on the functional. If it is specifically mentioned non-functional and what are the other areas to be tested, we'll focus on that. So as a tester, your focus, you will be writing the test cases from the FRS document. Okay. So far, any doubts?
No. No.
No doubts.
To put more light on the test cases. Now, test cases basically are prepared in Excel sheet only. Unless and until a company is using a online application, right? There are different applications, different software they are used to prepare the test cases. But most of the test cases will write it in a Excel sheet only. Correct. So before writing the test cases, your lead will finalize the what kind of template we are going to use. Correct. So I can write as a template is fixed for a test cases writing. Now we'll have a team meeting and say that, hey, testing team. So this is the template, Excel template we are going to use for this project. So there is a different team who maintains the templates. They maintain that, this template should be used across all the projects in the company. So we have to follow those kind of documentation only. Okay. Now, once we finalize the template, the same template is shared with you. Then you are going to write the test cases. Now, example, we have written a 10 test cases. Correct. Now, what is happening? Now, once the test cases you write, right? Now, what is the next step? You have to wait. Once test cases is ready, you will inform the team lead, right? You say that, hey, I have completed my test cases writing. I'm ready with the test cases example. Now you are written 10 test cases. Now we have to test this, right? You have to test the application. What is the testing phase? You have to do the testing. Correct? So how do you test? You need the application, right? Just some time back we have discussed. Your developer lead will send out an email with the URL. Correct? Now what happens? Dev team will release what? Release a build in the form of URL. Remember,
URL.
correct? 170 dot blah 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 blah. And once you click on that, your application will open. Correct? Now, what is that you do? You got the build. You got the build. Your test cases are ready. Okay, you got the build. Your test cases are ready. Now, a new terminology. What is that? Now, you have written the test cases. Once you written, what you do? You execute the test cases. How many test cases we have written here? 10, right?
10.
Correct. You have written 10 test cases. Now, 10, what are 10? Example, the moment I click on login page should display with all features. Example, if I go to google.com and click on Gmail, it should display username, password, and the submit button. It should display all the languages, right? Example, if I go to any page, right? Let's take this a Google page. If you're testing this, if your build is released, so you should, in the requirement, it is mentioned as the page should contain the Google image like this. It should has all the application recently visited, right? It should have a search bar and should display icon like this one, hyperlink images, and a small square box which should, when we click, applications should be displayed, vice versa. All the inputs which are mentioned in the FRS, you will prepare a test cases, right? Like this, you will prepare 10 test cases. Once the build is released, you will execute the test cases. What do you mean by execution? You will first read this first line, whatever you have written, whether the application is displaying in the login page correctly or not. You'll open it and say, yes, login page is displaying correctly. Oh, the Gmail link should be there, but it is not displaying here. I'm just giving an example. The Gmail link is not displaying, right? It means that this page is not displaying the correct information which is mentioned in the functional requirement documentation. Now, vice versa, like you have executed all the 10 test cases and you found case number 1, found one test case failed and 9 passed. What is that? One test case failed. It means there is one defect in the build. One defect in the build. Now you're listening to 3 important words. One is build, the other one is release. You heard a new word called test cases. You heard executing the test case. You heard one failed or passed. And another word you heard is the defect. So what is the defect here? Defect is something which is not meeting the customer's requirement. Now, why it is failed? Why it is failed? The functional requirement document says the Gmail link should be present on the login page. That is a requirement from the customer. A developer has developed the page. He developed an excellent page. The
I can't hear anything. I'm audible.
I think net fluctuations. Please wait. No?
Okay.
Sorry guys, suddenly my internet got interrupted. I have to join back. Bear with me, everyone. We'll finish off in 5 minutes next.
Yes, we are
Okay.
here.
Okay. Okay. Great.
Yes,
Thank you.
I'm audible.
All right. So now, as a tester, you tested the application. You have executed those 10 test cases, and you found that one test case is failed, 9 are passed. It means one failed because of not meeting the requirements. Now, when it says not meeting the requirements, it means something is mentioned in the FRS document that developer could not follow it. Example, a Gmail link should be there on the homepage of Google. That what link was missing. And as a tester, just because he's your friend, hey, he's my best friend, where we both come in same cab, same bus, and he's very or she's very hardworking girl. She's very good girl. I'll not trouble the developer, right? Whatever it might be, you should not be bothered of all those things. If it is not following the FRS document, if something is missing from the FRS document, as a tester, you should raise that as a defect, right? Raise that as a defect. Now, this defect is sent to the developer. How it is sent, what way, we'll discuss in deep dive. But now, try to understand one cycle. Let's complete one cycle today, then we'll see the next cycle tomorrow. Correct. Now, the one defect is setback to the developer, and developer will see Gmail link is you'll take the screenshot of this particular page. Example, let me show you this way. Generally testers use different the way of taking a screenshot. Now this is the screenshot and you just highlight it here. Example, this is missing. This is not there. I imagine this is not there, right? You'll just highlight this one, correct? Highlight this one and you write. And different companies will use different applications to raise the defects. We'll discuss that in deep dive in next couple of sessions. But this for now, understand companies will use different applications. I mean, you use that application and send out an email to the developer stating that in this particular place, Gmail link should come as per the customer's requirement, and we have missed to display this link here. Then the developer will look into this and say, "Oh yes, I have missed this link. I missed this link, and I uh, yeah, you will accept the defect and you'll fix the defect and he'll respond back to you stating that the now Gmail link is available and you can close the defect, right? So for now, we'll stop it here, okay, and we'll try to complete because this is a little bit lengthy phase. Try to understand this is a very lengthy phase, and we'll deep dive into this tomorrow again and try to give you more cases, correct? So what happens if the case one, if all cases, test cases are successfully executed, if one case is failed, what happens? We'll discuss deep dive tomorrow. Okay. All right. So let's complete. Let's end this session for today, and we'll connect tomorrow at the same time, and we'll try to expedite. We'll try to expedite